name's Dan. I hope you're doing really well today. I've got a question about how to turn music theory into actual music, and that's what this lesson is all about. And in a nutshell, it's creating. You must learn to practice creativity, and you're going to be using technique, tone, timing, feel. Let's dive straight in. Here's one thing I absolutely recommend you learn. It's a diatonic scale. That just means like a natural minor scale or a major scale. Let's do E natural minor. That scale has 7 different notes, and on every single one of those notes you can create an arpeggio. A chord is when you play those notes together, and that's for your guitarists and your piano players. We play. Now, this is a theory concept. You've got D7 if I go in this direction. You've got C major 7. How do we turn that into music? Well, let's select a tempo. I'm making this up as I go, and I'd like you to do the same. Going about this fast. Let's start off with a sort of funky poppy type thing. It's a chord progression. I'm going from the E minor 7, skipping across this one to the C major 7, then the D7, and then the E minor 7. I'm just doing a 4-bar thing here and making music. In fact, I'm just doing the octaves and the 7th. Keep the rhythms the same. A little fill, you can use the notes from the scale. A little secret weapon is to use the minor pentatonic, in this case E, because that's the key. Now look, there, I did something fancy. Now of course I've got the technique under my fingers to be able to do that. That's slides, hammer-ons, all those kind of things. And you need to express yourself fully, you need those under your fingers. You need the muscle memory going. So make sure that you're always working. That's a good way of doing it, is if you know a minor pentatonic scale. Just slide in and out, use different techniques like hammer-ons and pull-offs on the scale, and you'll find that you'll actually be making music by just practicing a scale. E minor pentatonic. Just play it with technique up and down and it will sound musical. Let's take the same idea as before and turn it into reggae. I'm doing palm muting here. That's getting the fleshy part of the palm there against the bridge just at the end here, and then just using the thumb just to play. I'm just very simple triads now. If you know what a triad is, 1st, 3rd and 5th of the scale. And there's that diatonic thing again. I'm going to the C, and this one's major. And on D, it's major as well. We have 7 different notes in this scale, and I'm just dealing with 3 of them. Okay, so there are 4 other chords we can go to. By the way, I've got a course called From Beginner to Bassist, which goes through in lots of detail from the beginning, takes you to quite intermediate level. Actually, we go through all of these different chords in the harmonized scale and how to improvise different styles. So I'll put a link below if you're interested in that. Let's do a rock kind of thing. Okay, this time I'm going a bit faster. I'm doing 8th notes, which are 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and always be counting. Always know what your rhythms are. These are 8th notes. Okay, so I'm just going from the E. Little slide, put a bit of character in there down to the C. And just using notes again from that scale. You know them in different positions. So I'm just going E, E, C, D, E. Just linking up the chords in a sort of musical way using scales. I know we're analysing this a bit, and you know, there comes a point where you're not thinking about this. I think that's the point. When I make up bass lines, even in these lessons when I'm doing it on the spot, there's no way I'm thinking about this. But in order to explain it to you, and you know, these theory concepts, that's why I'm doing it. Don't think that lots of, you know, musicians think in this analytical way. They probably don't actually, okay? But it's useful to know what these things are. Okay, do you know what relative major is? E minor has a relative major. You go to the third note, play from there. That's the relative major. It's G major. So G major pentatonic works over G major. Okay, so I don't know if you know G major pentatonic. Definitely learn it if you don't. Okay, you might learn it like that, but boring up and down. There I went. Little slide to make it more exciting. Then I went to the C, the D. So that's the 1, the 4, the 5. Again, it's this diatonic idea, okay? On major, you've got major arpeggios. So I'm just creating music by thinking in this sort of harmonized scale way, going to different points of the scale and just making stuff up that way. Okay, I switched basses to my 4-string to teach you a bit better, but the intro was that sort of chordal thing I was doing, and it's very much the same idea. Now this time I'm using free strokes, like thumb, index, middle. Free stroke is when you pluck away from the body. And again, same thing here. We've got C major 7 we had down there. By the way, I've got a free book that you can download. I'll put a link below that gives you all these shapes I'm about to show you, okay? And it's in that course as well. But you got C major 7, B minor 7, A minor 7, G major 7, okay? And I was just going down those shapes. You've got a little melody within there. Anything else I was doing, by the way? All that stuff. They're all notes that were within that scale. And I know that it's all very well telling you that, and then showing you something like this. It sounds pretty fancy, doesn't it? But honestly, that's sort of the way I would practice. I've got my very simple diatonic kind of movement, and then I'll just sort of use some of the notes that I know are in my scale pattern, you know, and then just as long as you add some feel into it and phrasing, that's how you craft, you know. When we talk in phrases. This is the same thing here. So that's a phrase, leave some gaps, you know. You will fall back on certain licks. I always do that. Slide into the 5th. There's the flat 7. Slide back. You know, you'll hear these things. So it's the same idea. Take your diatonic, you know, idea of the 7 different chords within a key, and this time just play some very simple 7th patterns. Not something you probably do much of in actual bass playing, but it's fun to do, and you can actually compose this way as well. And I'm employing this technique. This technique is bringing this idea to life. Let's move on to something that is a little bit simpler. Let's take a E minor pentatonic scale. You notice I'm sticking to one key for this lesson. I'm going to play it a little bit differently. E, G, A, B, D, E. That's the open string E, and then frets 3, 5, and 7 on the E string. And then 5 and 7 on the A string. That's the speed, da, 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 doing a lot of that rhythm. And just going up the scale, but this time injecting some rhythms into it and some gaps. Those gaps are the rests, they're very important. Always tapping my foot, always being aware of what the rhythm is for whatever I'm doing. da, 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 da. Those are 16th notes. Between those two notes there, the A and the B on the frets 5 and 7, that's your flat 5. And that's a really cool note. It turns it into a blues scale. Let's just take the first few notes and create a riff, a repeating pattern. E, 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 2 Gs, and bending that note. Again, another fancy thing there, but if you know your patterns of the E minor pentatonic scale, I've got a shape that I'll give you. I'm not playing it up and down, okay, that's too boring. I'm trying to put in some expressive techniques. These are your slides, your bends, your hammer-ons. That's a phrase, there you go. But I'm using very common, very simple shape. You could just do months of just playing that and you'll love it because it sounds good, okay? A solo kind of idea, or like fills. Take a simple groove. I'm just going E, 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 D, E. Open string, then 5th, 7th on the A string. And then doing a fill. Now it goes without saying, I'm doing this on the spot because I've got the technique together. I've been playing long enough that I should. So combine the two things, you know, make up technique exercises whilst you're making music with theory, actually doing 3 things at once there. And if you do this, you need to get to a point, and this, you know, don't rush, don't worry about this. This will be whenever it happens. You need to get to a point where you're not thinking about anything. You're not thinking about the shape. You're not thinking about how to do a hammer-on. Of course, you probably don't need me to tell you that if you don't know how to play a hammer-on, well, it's not going to come to you immediately then. This is the kind of thing you work on in your practice. You know, write down, I need to know hammer-ons, and then you've got your... There's your pentatonic again. You'd work on it, maybe work on it in a musical way. Ghost notes. It's fun when you do take theory and you make it into music. Let's dive into a couple more ideas. You may or may not know this, but there's something called the Mixolydian mode. It's very easy to play. It's like a major scale with a flat 7, okay? That's all it is. Now, everything I've been showing you so far is a result of me learning lots of bass lines in the past and being able to call on them. It's kind of in my head. So that's one tip that I have for you. That you really want you to make this as daily as you can. Figure out bass lines or little bits of bass lines or solos or whatever. Use your ear to do this, because it's all very well me telling you this, but the light bulb will only go off when you actually sit down and figure stuff out for yourself, and you'll hear and see what I'm talking about. So for example, look. That kind of blues thing, that's within those notes. If you go to the 6th note and then the 5th, if you like soul music and you study a few soul bass lines, you realize that that crops up all the time. Just play around with it, okay? If you really analyze this, that's the speed. That's syncopated, okay? Means not on the beat. And just creating a little bass line that's a hook and that's a repeating thing, and just messing around with that. Again, I'll stress the point, the more you listen to bass lines, the more this is easy. It's a major mode. We know that because it's got a major 3rd. So anything that's major, the major pentatonic works over it. So you're doing this line. You can experiment with a little fill, D major pentatonic over that. There are your slides. That's a short note. It's all about integrating those ideas with technique, feel, rhythm, different styles of music. Lots of Jaco stuff was this. Because a lot of his playing came from soul music and players like Tommy Cogbill. And this Mixolydian mode, you'll find it all the time in soul music. And the next mode I'll show you, and the last thing, is a Dorian. Let's do this. It's the same thing as the Mixolydian, just flatten the third. There I'm just going root, flat third, there's the flat seventh. That's the Dorian note, that major 6. So you get that, you learn it, and then you get creating instantly. I'm sort of rushing through this lesson a bit. I don't have much time today to do a video. By the way, if I am, and you've got questions, let me know, and I'll answer them. You know, you slow it down. Sounds cool. Slap. It's a minor mode, because the third note's flat, a flat third. So your fills are going to be D minor pentatonic, okay? I know I've done a lot in this lesson, and I know a lot of it has been just me making stuff up, and you may need to rewind and go through things again. But just rest assured that there are some things you need to know. You know, your scales, your modes, your triads, your arpeggios, how they fit together within a key. And then in answer to the question, you know, how do you turn theory into actual music? Well, listen to music and then use those ideas, or go the other way around. Just play some scales and instantly, you know, try and craft them into a bass line, or into a fill, or into a solo. You need to know the shapes. Your technique needs to be good in order to express yourself freely without thinking about it. If you don't know the pattern, if you don't know a hammer-on, it's not going to happen. So, you know, write down what you need to learn, and just gradually, every day, just learn something else. Play a scale, make up a bass line with timing at the same time, and you're doing all of this stuff in one go. I hope that lesson helps you. As I said, if you've got any questions, let me know. And if you wanted to check out From Beginner to Bassist, that goes through a lot of this stuff. I mean, it's not a really beginner course, but it does take you from not being able to play the bass at all to some more, you know, advanced concepts. I've got a funk bass course as well that dives a lot into the Dorian side of things as well. So links below if you want to check that out. Please do subscribe if you liked that lesson, and I wish you a very good day. See you next time.